Hello and welcome back to Aptitude Plus Academy for Civil Services. In the previous part of the video, we discussed clocks. We saw the various types of questions that can possibly come in this section, and we did try some previous year's questions also. So, in continuation with this video, we will have the next topic, which is calendars. Again, vitally important for your exam, which is CSAT. At the same time, it is a common topic to all the other exams that you can think of. Even if you are targeting your state civil services exams, questions on calendars will be there. Okay? So, it is a very important part of the syllabus. At the same time, it is very interesting and we get a practical idea of how the calendar and the algorithm behind the calendar works. So, without much delay, let us start with the session. Now, when we talk about calendars, we should understand one thing, that when calendar was designed, a certain set of assumptions were taken. Those assumptions were universally accepted, and hence today we follow the modern English calendar, which is the Gregorian calendar. It is also known as Gregorian calendar. And the fact still prevails that calendars from different civilizations do not match. For example, if you try matching the English calendar with the Hindi or any regional Bengali calendar, you will see that the dates do not match. Why? Because of the fact that calendar, when designed, was designed on certain set of assumptions, and these assumptions were different for different civilizations. But something that was universally accepted by all was taken as, you can say something that was taken accepted by everyone, then we have a common ground, and then with that we proceeded with the modern English calendar. So, let us get started. So, when we talk about calendars, we talk about the concept of odd days, Now, what does odd day mean? Odd day means a day that could not become part of a week, something that could not become part of a week. Now, what does that mean? For example, if I say that in 15 days, how many weeks are there? So, we will say in 15 days, 7 plus 7, total 14 days would make 2 weeks. So, one extra day will be left. So, that one extra day is called odd days. So, mathematically, if somebody is asking you the number of odd days, you just divide 15 by 7 and give me the remainder. 15 by 7, when divided, what is the remainder? Okay. So, I can say 15 by 7, the remainder is equal to 1. So, then one extra day is called the odd day. So, entire concept of modern calendar is based on the concept of odd days. We will see how and what are the things that we need to know before we start with the question. Now, before we get into the questions, we should have a clear cut understanding of odd days, which we have already discussed. Then we should know what is the difference between a leap year and a normal year. So, when we talk about a leap year, we must know that a leap year comes every 4 years. And how do we check whether a year is leap or not? So, most of you might be knowing that if a given year is divisible by 4, if the value of the given year is divisible by 4, then the year is called leap. And if it is not divisible by 4, obviously it will not be a leap. But before that, you have to check whether the year that you are considering is a century year or not. So, how does the algorithm work? Suppose you have any particular year, let us say some particular year is given x, 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 x. Now, this year, first you have to check whether it is a century year or not. If century year means divisible by 100 or multiples of 100, like 1900, 2000, 2400, 2100. If not a century year, So, if it is not a century year, then we have to check whether divisible by 4. But if it is a century year, you have to check if it is divisible by 400. So, if I ask you the year 1900, is it a leap year? So, first it falls under this category because it is not a century year. So, it is a century year. So, check if it is divisible by 400. No, it is not divisible. Hence, this is not a leap year. Likewise, if I ask you the next year that will come 2024, is it a leap year? 2024 is not a century year. So, I simply check the divisibility by 4. So, because it is divisible by 4, you will say it is a leap year. Okay. Now, we understand that for a normal year, the total number of days are 365. Now, 365 when divided by 7, you will get, if you can check, 365 when divided by 7, 7 5s are 35 and 7 2s are 14. What is the remainder? 1. So, can I say a normal year has 52 weeks and 1 odd day? So, can I say odd day for a normal year is 1? And same way, if it is a leap year, normal year, LY stands for leap year, you know it has 366 days. So, 366 by 7 will give you 2 as a remainder, and hence we say that a number of odd day for a leap year is 2. Make sense? So, for a normal year it is 1, for a leap year it is 2. Very important, because this is what I will be needing when we start with the question. Having said this, let us move ahead. Now, what is the type of question that is asked in this segment? In this segment, they can ask you, let us say, they will give you a random date, maybe of future or past, and they will ask you what was the day corresponding to that date. For example, they can say that, let us say 24th January 1942 was what day of the week? Okay. It could be a possible question. What is that? 24th January 1942 was what day of the week? Was it Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday? What was that? So, that is what we are supposed to figure out. So, for that, let us understand some more basic concepts related to calendars. Now, if I talk about first 100 years, first 100 years have how many odd days? First 100 years mein number of odd days is what? So, you should remember that it is 5. I have written 5, but we will see how this 5 has come. So, when I talk about the first 100 year, from year 1 to year 100, how many odd days are there? So, let us see. In the first 100 years, the total number of leap year and non-leap year is how much? Leap year and non-leap year. So, when I talk about the leap year, the first leap year is going to be the year 4, then 8, and then 12 till 96. Now, talking about 100, should I consider 100 as a leap year? No. Why? Because 100 is a century year, and for a century year to be a leap year, it has to be divisible by 400. That is what we discussed in the previous part. It means 100 is not a leap year. So, when we calculate the number of leap years from 4 to 96, I will get 24 leap years. So, I will write down here that the number of leap years are 24 and number of non-leap years will be 100 minus 24, 100 minus 24, which is equal to 76. Now, we also discussed that each leap year has 2 odd days. So, this will be into 2 if I want to figure out the number of odd days. So, you will say 48 odd days. Likewise, each non-leap year will have 1 odd day. So, that would mean 76 odd days. So, if I add 48 plus 76, how much will I get? I will get 124 odd days. Now, 124 days will have many weeks. So, how many are there? So, we will go for simple division, divided by 7. So, 7 ones are 7, this is 5, 7 sevens are 49, that would mean 5 extra days. So, I will say this 124 odd days has 17 complete weeks plus 5 odd days. Okay, so that is the reason I have written 5. So, this calculation should be clear in your mind. Okay. Now, having understood this, let us move ahead and think what will be the number of odd days in 200 years. So, in 200 years, in 100 years it is 5. So, in 200 years mathematically this should have been 10, 5 into 2, but 10 would finally mean 3 odd days because 10 days contain 1 week. Separate that 1 week out, you are left with 3 extra days. So, I can say 3 odd days. Likewise, in 300 years, how many odd days will be there? So, this means this into 3. So, 5 into 3 should have given me 15, but you know 15 has 2 weeks, 15 days has 2 weeks. So, 1 extra odd day is left, hence we write 1. Now comes the most trickiest part. If I ask you how many leap years in 400 years, so you will say mathematically this should get multiplied by 4. Multiplied by 4 would make it 20, And generally people say, sir, 20 divided by 7, 7 to the 14, so odd days will be 6. But do you really think it should be 6 odd days for 400 years? What is so special about 400 which is not special about 100, 200 or 300? So the thing that is special about 400 is that it is the first century leap year. 100, 200 and 300 were not considered as leap year. It means this being a leap year has one extra day in itself. So total number of odd days will become 21. 21 odd days finally means 3 weeks. So we are not left with any extra day. So that's the reason we call it, we say that it has 0 odd days. So remember the data, 5 odd days, 3 odd days, 1 odd day and 0. All that you need to do is to remember this part, remaining can be calculated logically. Having said that, can I say that 800 years or 1200 years, or for that sake any multiple of 400 will also have 0 odd days? Why? Because 400 years have 0 odd days. So any multiple of 400 will also have 0 odd days. This is the only concept that I need to know to proceed with questions based on calendars. So having understood this, we'll move ahead and see one more assumption. As I started the topic by saying that there were assumptions taken. So the days of the week were named Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday and Saturday. Now for counting purpose, Sunday was taken as a reference day and the odd day value assigned to Sunday was taken as 0. So Sunday is taken as the reference day, that is the reason we have holidays on Sundays, right? So that can be used to remember. So Sunday is taken as odd, Sunday has taken the value 0 for odd day. A value of odd day equal to 1 will correspond to Monday, for 2 Tuesday, 3 Wednesday, 4 Thursday, 5 Friday and 6 Saturday. So this is what we should keep in mind. So this is the background knowledge that I need to have before starting with any question based on calendars. Let's have a look at the question. So the first question that we have is, let us now take a random date and try to figure out the day corresponding to it. The answer that we will get in this question can be checked with Google also. It should match because actual calendar follows the same algorithm that we are going to learn now. So the question, answer to the question that we will be getting can be verified with Google also. Okay. Now let me take a case. If I want to figure out that 22nd March, I am just taking a random question, 22nd March 2003, or let me take 2004. 22nd March 2004 was what day of the week? Corresponding day we are supposed to find out. So listen carefully guys, what are we supposed to do? We are supposed to scan the entire 2003 years plus 2 months plus some days of March and see how many odd days have accumulated. So starting from the year 1, I am not talking about 2001, I am talking about the year 1 which is 2022 years back. So starting with year 1, we have to reach to this date and see in this entire process of tracing these many years, how many odd days have accumulated. So from, if I talk about the first 2000 years, see it is not difficult at all, because when you talk about 2000 years, we know that 2000 is a straightforward multiple of 400 and 2000 years will have odd days 0. So coming back here, 2000 years, the number of odd days are 0. After 2000, I will talk about 2001 as a standalone year. I have to reach to this point. Then 2002, then 2003 and then 2004, but we are not tracing the entire 2004, we are tracing month wise, that is January, February, March, and for March which date? I am supposed to go to 22nd March. Okay. Now, the moment you come to a standalone year, 2001 is the complete 1 year. Just be aware whether it is a leap year or non-leap year. 2001 is not divisible by 4, so it is not a leap year, and if the year is not leap, then the odd day is equals to 1. I can say, you see here, for a leap year the odd day is equals to 1. So that's quite we can understand this particular part from here, right? So for a non-leap year the odd day is 1, for a leap year the odd day is 2. So this is a non-leap year, so the odd day is 1. This is a non-leap year, odd day is 1. Non-leap year, odd day is 1. Now coming to 2004, month wise, see how many days January has. So January has 31 days. In 31 days, the total number of odd days are going to be what? In 31 days, 7 4s are 28, 4 weeks plus 3 extra days. So I can say 3 odd days. Now be very careful with the month of February. When you are talking about February, see the year considered. Is it a leap year? Yes. So February of 2004 will have 29 days, hence it will have 1 extra day, 7 4s are 28, 1 odd day. And going to March, March is 22 days. Because March is 22 days, we should understand that the odd day has to be 0, 7 3s are 21, 1 extra day. So in case of March, the odd day is 1. I hope this makes sense. Now next step says simply add up all the odd days. How much will I get? So let me add 0 plus 1 plus 1, this is 2 plus 1 3 plus 3 is 6 plus 1 is 7. Okay. So 1 plus 1 2, 3, 3 plus 3 is 6, 6 plus 1 7. Okay, one more is there, 8. So total odd day comes out to be 8. Now understand, 8 odd day would mean 7 days if you subtract 1 week, finally you are left with 1 odd day. Now go back to this table and see that a value of 1 odd day corresponds to which day of the week. This table you have to remember, keeping in mind that the odd day value corresponding to Sunday is 0. So here I can say, because Sunday is 0, the odd day value corresponding to Monday is 1. And when we see the calculation in our section, I will see that the value is 1 odd day. So this 1 corresponds to which day of the week? As we checked in the table, it is Monday. So this has to be Monday. Okay. So 22nd March 2004, even when you check it with Google, the answer for this question is Monday. So it's a very common question. Generally it is asked in most of the competitive exams, including CSAT. So I hope you have understood. The topics are very simple, provided you get the correct guidance. All these things are going to be a cakewalk for you, right? So I hope I have cleared the basic of calendar, or the basic things have been touched upon for calendars. The more you practice, the more expert you become, and I hope this will help. Thank you so much. Stay tuned with Apti Plus for many such interesting, knowledgeable videos. Thank you so much.